right. Illini Basketball Podcast, episode number 119. I had to put my headphones on because I think the AirPods were the issue. And now I don't like the way this looks. And I also can't hear anything because I forgot to change them. Okay. Episode 119, season preview. Very good start. Now I got my phone volume on.
Another great introduction.
Good start, though. Good start. Now I gotta, yeah.
Steve's here bright and early. He's excited.
Now you're muted to me, unless that's just me. It might just be me.
Well, now we can't even talk to each other.
Why can't I hear anything?
Steve says, "Hey guys, started watching Illini in 1972. So this is my 50th year as an Illini.
I just can't hear him. You go ahead and talk.
Podcast and basketball. I'm trying to talk. Doesn't get any better. This is going to be great. Best podcast in basketball. Thanks, Steve, for the nice words. Ethan can't hear, so I don't know what we're gonna do. Do we want to stop it and start again? Oh, this is a mess. So we might be right back. Hold on. Okay, well, I guess it's just going to be me, guys. Ethan's trying to figure things out. We're not stopping and restarting. So here we go. This is going to be a good-sized show. We got a lot of things to talk about.
There we go. Jesus.
He is back. I was ready to just stop it and start again, so I rambled for about 3 minutes.
That was a good hold. That was a good hold. Yeah. Season preview predictions. I mean, this is a great start. If this is any indication of how the season's going to go.
Yeah.
Woo, that is not good. That is not good. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot to talk about. I mean, the Quincy thing, I guess we'll get to that. That was kind of not too much evaluation. Then we have the secret scrimmage and other stuff. And so Underwood talking his team up.
There were some games played, if you want to call them that. The Kansas secret scrimmage and Quincy. But first, we're going to go into Underwood. He was on Rothstein's College Hoops today. And in that, Underwood said that this is the best team he's had 1 through 10 since he's been in Illinois. He said, quote, "Yes, we've had great players like Io and Kofi, but 1 through 10, this is the best roster. We've got depth. We've got versatility." He loves that word, by the way. And we've got skill. Now I guess this is 1 through 9. As many of you know, Luke Goody went down in the secret scrimmage. Underwood called it an effort play where he was just going for the ball and stepped on somebody else's foot. He fractured his foot, had surgery. And from the sounds of it, from what Luke Goody put out on Twitter, he's not going to be back until the second half of the season. So, and according to Underwood, he was penciled in as a starter at the time, which I kind of questioned. And then I saw how well Illinois shot in that Quincy game. And then I'm like, oh, maybe he should be starting, but it's all right. Illinois has to shoot better, right? That's what I think. We said that a lot last year. So this year, I think we're going to be saying it a lot again. Underwood did talk about Ty Rodgers, and we'll talk more about him, about the Quincy game and stuff. But he said, quote, "He's been exceptional. He's got great positional size, especially if he plays point guard for us at times." Which I kind of question this, but he did play. He brought the ball up a few times against Quincy. I thought he did okay with it. He said that he's going to be, quote, an impact guy. So Ty Rodgers, I will talk about it, but I think Ty Rodgers should start. We'll get into that more later on. And then the last thing I have here from the College Hoops today was Underwood saying, quote, "I'm back to my days as a junior college coach in terms of putting a team together. We're going to be a different team as the season progresses because we haven't been together before. We've already seen that. We're a much different team than the first day of practice. Last year, I knew what we had. This year, we're figuring it out. But we've got versatility, we've got shooting, and we've got a lot of really good players." So Underwood, yes, talking the team up as he should. The team is versatile.
Do they have shooting? I'm not totally convinced that they do.
I don't know. Again, we'll get into that. I mean, I
I don't think he could say this is the best team he's had. I think he could say it's the best roster if he's going to use the word roster.
Right, and that's what I think he was trying to say is it's the best 1 through 10 or whatever, 1 through 9, I guess now. But, I guess Illinois just hasn't ever been this deep, per se, since he's been here. But yeah, I don't know if it's the best. You putting your best 5 guys out there versus putting your best 5 guys the last couple of years. I don't know if you say that, but Underwood's excited. I don't think he was very excited at the beginning of that Quincy game, but yeah.
Well, I would say that 1 through 9 in 2021 might be better than 1 through 9 without Goody this year, if we're going to be honest. But I feel like they don't really have anybody that stands out over anybody like they had with Io and Kofi. I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
And, versatility, great word usage. That is true. They do have that. But I would like to see us as a fan base be very, very, temper the expectations early in the season. Because if they start out 5-3, 6-3, it's not the end of the world. And I already see now if they lose both games
unless
in
one of
Vegas,
those losses is to like Monmouth or something.
yeah, that would be an issue. But if they lose both games in Vegas and then they lose 2 of 3 between Syracuse, Maryland, and Texas, and you're sitting there, four losses?
Mm-hmm.
I can already see the freakouts coming.
Yeah,
at 5-4.
Yeah, I think that, and it's crazy that we'll get into our predictions and stuff later on, but initially, I'm not happy with my prediction because I'm predicting this team to be better than what I think they're probably going to be. So, but I won't be that guy. I won't be that guy yelling at the clouds because Illinois got 10 losses on the year. So, in other news, before we get to more actual basketball play, just about the team and where guys are that have left. Kofi signed a contract with a Japanese team, Niigata Albirex. So he's going to be in Japan. What do you think of this? Are you surprised? I mean, not surprised that has to take his talents overseas, but that he didn't come back and make money at Illinois, try to win National Player of the Year.
I've kind of moved past this situation. I think a lot of people think that. I think Underwood thinks it too, that they're going to be better without him. I think that could probably be the case, but also you don't really just want to sit like people like glad he's gone. It's like he's a back-to-back All-American, and we're just like, oh, we're glad he's gone. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
And good for him. He's gonna be playing ball, different type of ball against different players.
Yeah.
And it's
I hope he does well. I hope that,
it's not surprising.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that he couldn't stick somewhere around the NBA, not like exactly in the NBA, but maybe in the G League.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but maybe there's more money in Japan.
Could be.
I don't know. That's probably got to be a big part of it. So,
yeah.
The other 2 guys that are off playing, well, I guess Plummer's off playing somewhere, but I haven't seen anything about him. But Io, we talked about last time, he did get the starting point guard job for the Bulls due to injuries, things like that. But he's been having a pretty good season so far. He's averaging 12.5 points a game, shooting 45% from 3, averaging 4.7 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and a block a game. He had a season high 22 points against the Celtics, shot 9 of 10 that game, and he was perfect 4 for 4 from 3. I believe that he's currently out. He banged his head against Keldon Johnson's knee going to the hoop or something. And so he was under concussion protocol, came back that game, and I guess he's got some lingering neck injury. So we'll see what happens with him, see him get back. Other big news, Trent Frazier, who is playing for ABA Liga.
Liga.
Liga. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've put Ligma down first, so
That would have been
let's not go
good.
there. He's averaging 19 and a half a game, 5.6 assists, and he's shooting 47% from three. Illinois is going to miss that. Think a little bit?
No.
Yeah, okay. He did have a career high 31 points in his last game, and he went 7-9 from three. So congrats to those guys. Illinois playing professional basketball, it's always good. Whether it's in the NBA or overseas, it's nice to see those guys still doing well, still playing the game they love. So in other news, ZZ Clark decommits from Illinois in a move I don't think anybody really saw coming. Sky Clark, it's his little brother, of course, and it seemed like ZZ helped bring Sky to Illinois in some ways. Of course, Sky, they have connections with Tim Anderson, and that's kind of the big reason why they came. There's a conspiracy theory floating around out there, which why not talk about it here? Who cares, right? We're not real media people. The theory is, and I got this from a friend, he texted this to me, and it said that Illini originally offered ZZ Clark a scholarship and accepted his commitment to help his recruiting profile. There was agreement that if Illinois landed another guard, which they ended up doing with Trey Gibbs-Lawhorn, his scholarship would end up being void. Do you believe any of this? Because I really don't. But I think I think this is just typical Illinois fandom. They got to come up with a reason why somebody would decommit from Illinois. But Sky Clark or ZZ Clark, he's a 3-star. I think that he's going to be higher than that once everything, shakes out. But I just thought it was interesting that he committed so early and then decommitted. And in ZZ's statement, he said, after further thought and discussion with my family, I have decided to decommit from Illinois. As much as I love the University of Illinois and their fan base, I would like to reopen my recruitment to make sure I find the best fit for me personally. I appreciate all the love I have gotten from the Fighting Illini family and the support my brother and family, who is doing phenomenal there, but it's time for me to blaze my own trail. It sounds to me like he doesn't want to be in his brother's shadows. So
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't really think that this is going to be something that affects them that much.
No.
It was a good addition at the time. It's one of those things where you just got to be careful about early commitments and where they end up. And,
nothing's guaranteed till they sign the paper. So
there's been many of them in the last couple of years that have ended up in the same situation. And here's what it is. I can only assume that Alex Jones was the one texting you. So I'm assuming that that's not going to be true, but we'll probably get our show taken down just because I mentioned his name. But if you want to talk conspiracy theories, then that's the one who's going to come to you. So I'm assuming that's who texted you, but I don't want to drop any names. So yeah, this, I don't see how this is going to, unless Sky leaves, none of this really matters, for being honest.
Yeah. Well, he can't go anywhere this year, right? So
yeah. And he'll probably end up transferring to Kentucky after this season. Everyone's going to freak out.
Yeah. All right, on to Kansas secret scrimmage. Tell everybody how you know that Illinois won.
Well, number one, Illinois, they won. It's been circulating. People know it. Ask Titus and Tate. That's another show that probably has a lot more viewers than we do, but they know it. People know it. Circulation. Everybody knows Illinois won this thing. And everybody knows that if you read about what Underwood said about it or what Bill Self said about it, I can feel the positivity. I can feel Kansas thinking, well, we got a lot of new guys, a lot of new pieces. We're trying to figure out rotations. I can feel Illinois saying, we have a lot of new guys, but also mysterious, very good team, easy win for Illinois, probably by 20. I'm not going to assume the score, but it was a win.
Okay, so this is what happened in the scrimmage, from what I know. There was one 20-minute game, 3 10-minute quarters, and 4 4-minute situational periods and segments against his own defense. So I don't know what they won. I mean, if If you want to say they won a 20-minute game, I guess, yay, go Illinois. I don't know. Supposedly, Sky Clark had 18 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, which is good. And Sky did say in the last practice before going home for the summer that he felt like he's back to where he used to be. He said he felt, quote, like my old self again. So according to Jeff Goodman, who apparently was there, I don't know, maybe he got a text message from some rando too. Terrence Shannon Jr. and Kevin McCullough, who are both Texas Tech transfers, amazingly enough, were the 2 best players during the scrimmage. Underwood said, quote, we got exactly what we wanted from today. It was good to go up against a different jersey for the first time and play out a number of different situations. Every game went down to the wire, which was a great experience for both teams. So I don't think anybody won by 20, but
Illinois won every game.
you keep spreading that narrative. He also said, quote, there are a lot of things I saw today like that I liked, but also a number of areas where we need to improve on. This is why you have these scrimmages, to learn about yourself and get back to work. And he also said, quote, our best players played pretty good, but we've got to have some of the young guys step up and do better.
Still won.
Okay. Bill Self said, quote, we played a ton of situations in which the games came down to the last 30 seconds. Still won?
Yep.
Okay. And the last thing I got from this, apparently Underwood and Bill Self had a talk about a future series between Illinois and Kansas, according to Derek Piper of 247. Would you be excited to see that?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay. Do you think Bill Self gets booed every time he comes to Illinois?
I don't see why he would.
Why he would?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's been almost 20
you
years.
Apparently
guys.
don't know.
Let it go.
You don't know Illinois fans that well.
It's been almost 20 years, guys. We got to relax.
Yeah, that was longer than you've been alive, probably.
Nope.
Close enough. All right, on to the next thing.
Who's Columna Hawkins down at the bottom of the page here about how he was efficient? Nice spelling there. That's what it says on my page. Columna Hawkins. Interesting.
Sorry that I was typing at 11:30 last night because you don't do anything.
That was during the Packer game, okay?
At 11 o'clock last night?
I was getting over the Packer.
How'd that game go? Okay. You're crying. I gotcha.
No, my expectations have dropped to the point where I don't really have an emotion either way about the games, especially a game in Buffalo. That's a buzzsaw. We all know that. But everybody who listens to this podcast, their football team's just trading away their entire team thinking that they're going to be able to draft well, but they're not going to be able to do so. So Terrence Shannon Jr. Landing on the Jerry West Award watch list, shooting guard of the year is that award, which in college basketball, everything seems positionless. So the fact that we have a shooting guard of the year, who was the shooting guard for Baylor in 2021? 2020, excuse me. No, 2021. Yeah, 2021.
Your boy.
I guess Davion Mitchell was a shooting guard, but also they pretty much had 3 guards, and none of them were really – I guess Jared Butler was the point guard, but also all of those guys could – anyway, it's college basketball. Nobody cares about positions, so why do we have these awards? But, hey, congrats to Terrence Shannon Jr. He'll probably win this. I don't know who else is up for it, but there you go.
Seems fair. All right. On to actual basketball. Real basketball where they play 20-minute halves. And, teams actually win or lose.
I thought they played 4-minute situational periods for games these days.
Yeah, so did I. And then just ran a bunch of zone defense. All right, Illinois versus Quincy. If you paid $10 to Big Ten Plus, you got to watch this. And in the first 10 to 15 minutes, you probably might have turned it off because Illinois did not look good. Did not look good at all. I think Ethan was starting to burn his nice beanie there because he was so mad at this team. But here we go. By the way, Zachary Perrin was spotted there. The kid from France who has to go to intermediate school, or what's he going to? Whatever he has to go to. Yeah. Why did you highlight Coleman Hawkins?
Columna?
Sorry, I typed it wrong. It didn't spell check me. All right. What I'm going to do here, I just kind of, put everybody's numbers down say a little bit about them, and then we'll talk about some other stuff as we go. Coleman Hawkins, 23 minutes, 6 of 9 from the field, 15 points. He was 1 of 3 from 3. He made Illinois' first 3-pointer, which I believe was like 17 minutes into the game. And it was a great feed from your boy, Brandon Lieb. 12 rebounds, so a nice little double-double against Division III Quincy or whatever they are.
High school.
4 offensive rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 4 turnovers. Not happy with the turnovers. Personally, Illinois did look pretty sloppy with the ball most of the game. But Coleman was very efficient. And my question is, can he do this against the Big Ten?
And the answer is probably no, but we'll see.
Well, Coleman Hawkins is never coming on our podcast.
Coleman Hawkins, yeah. Well, I'll say this. I am not comfortable at all with him being like a go-to guy for this team. And the good thing is that he doesn't have to be.
He doesn't.
But I'm also so sick of like projecting like he's actually going to be what we think he's going to be, because he's not. Like literally last season, most of it, like 95% of his success was against bad opponents, aka 17 points against Arkansas State. The only games where you could say he really showed up and was efficient and good against good opponents, Ohio State, he was good. Indiana in the Big Ten tournament, he actually figured out how to make threes. Other than that, I mean, I know the Michigan game at Michigan, he was good despite only scoring 6 points and being 2 for 7. He had moments in that game, but he's not playing a role where he's going to be a hunted player, and now he is this season. Yeah. So I will believe it when I see it with him, and I don't understand why people are acting like he's like
the only thing I think is what's going to be helpful is when he is playing the 5 against bigs like Edie and Dickinson, where they're going to have to come out and play defense against him. So I think that he can be that guy, but I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. So, RJ Melendez, 21 minutes, 6 of 10, also had 15 points. So him and Hawkins led the team in scoring with 15 apiece. He was 1 for 4 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, 1 turnover. I just put RJ is the RJ we thought he would be. I thought he was very good. Didn't make a lot of mistakes, and just he was solid. So I have high hopes for RJ still. I think that he proved that he can do that against any competition. Very excited about that. Your boy, Terrence Shannon Jr., shooting guard for the Fighting Illini.
That can't shoot.
25 minutes, 3 of 10 for 12 points, 1 of 6 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, only 1 turnover for him also. The thing about him, he's aggressive. I've been telling everybody that I've talked to, because, we're getting into basketball season. We're a week away. Basketball is here. So, I'm kind of famous. So, people see me out and they want to talk Illinois basketball. No. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, his athleticism, very good. What I was going to say was, Brad Underwood has been saying for how many years Illinois is going to get a shot up in the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. He's been saying that. This isn't something new, but Terrence Shannon Jr. took that to heart. And if it got under like 15 seconds on the shot clock, he was chucking it up. It didn't matter. And I love it. I love that he has that aggressiveness. I think he's going to be very good defensively, and he has points where he has bursts. And this team ran. They had ended up with 22 fast break points. So they're going to get out and they're going to run. And Terrence Shannon Jr. is probably going to lead that charge a lot. Excited to see what he does. We're going to have to, the shooting has to get better. The numbers from 3 were abysmal. I think they ended, what was it? 6 of 34 from 3-point land. brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. Sky Clark, another starter. There's two more that we got to talk about. Sky Clark, 29 minutes. I think he played the most of anybody in this game, which I assume they just want to get him out there in game situations and see how he feels. 4 of 11 for 11 points. He was 2 of 8 from 3. I texted you at one time and said Sky Clark needs to shoot more, and maybe I shouldn't have said that. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. Thought he played really well as a freshman, under control in the point guard position. Again, shooting just wasn't there. But you got to think, out of all these guys, who's played at State Farm Center?
2.
Thank you. Okay. Last starter. Were you surprised by this? I think everybody had him penciled in, but Matthew Meyer, do you think this is who Goody was penciled in front of?
If that were the case, I don't think that was. I think it was probably over. Well, yeah, I don't. How does that make sense if it was though? Because that's a very small lineup.
Right.
Maybe it was over RJ, which I don't think that would be the case.
I don't think there's any shot. So if there's anybody in the starting lineup that I think doesn't need to be in the starting lineup, I think it would be Matthew Meyer. He played 16 minutes. He was 2 of 7. He had 6 points. He was 0 for 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 turnovers. And as a guy that he's traditionally, when he was at Baylor, he always came off the bench. He didn't have to start. I didn't think he was any good. I'm just going to throw that out there, and I'm sorry if you listen to this.
Well, it's an exhibition
Matthew
game against
Meyer,
Quincy, so I think we'll be okay.
But he was not good.
But it's not that big of a deal.
He might have been the worst player.
It was between the 2 Baylor guys, I think, for who was the worst. So I'm not worried about it, though. I think I would like to see them try Rogers as the starter over Meyer in the first game, but I don't think they're going to do that. I just don't think Underwood has the stones. I hope he hears this. But we'll see what Meyer does in the regular season. I think I don't know. These first 3 games are not going to really show us that much. I don't think. I mean, you're playing Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois is like 349th out of 353 teams. So,
well, on KenPom they're 354.
Okay, whatever it is.
Which let me see how many teams there are. Let me scroll.
362.
363. Yikes! Jesus, 354. Yeah. So that's
so
like
Quincy might be better than Eastern Illinois.
I don't know about that, but is Jermaine Hamlin with Eastern Illinois?
I'd
love to see him.
Went there,
love to see him. Yeah, he did. I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah.
And then you have UMKC who's 295th, and you have Monmouth who's 250th. So like, you don't really have anything ramping you up, and then you play UCLA, and then you play Virginia or Baylor. So that's going to be the real challenge. So you're probably 3-0 going into that, unless there's a shocking game, which Nicholls State, UT, RGV, those couple games the last few years kind of stick out. But I'm not worried about Meyer. I think you give it time. I don't think there's really too much evaluation either way in this game in terms of good or bad. You're playing Quincy, who was very undersized and very bad at basketball compared to this team. So I'm not going to, say that Meyer shouldn't be playing.
Wait, you trying to be nicer these days or what? What's going on here?
I just don't think that we should act like he's not good at all just because of one game. I mean, especially an exhibition game. And
Fair.
I think
I'm not saying that he's not good.
And also think about this.
I'm just saying that he is more. He has been more comfortable in the past coming off the bench.
I agree.
That's all.
But he came here probably think he's going to be a starter, so it might ruffle some
I'm sure
feathers.
they told him that he was going to be. Steve says Shannon Jr. and Myers are position players. RJ and Clark will lead this team. I think 2 freshmen might start.
Let me raise you 3 freshmen. That would be great.
I don't know if Sincere starts, he might foul out in the first 5 minutes though. So
Clark,
Epps.
Rogers, and Epps.
I think Epps steps in.
Probably not. That's probably too small of a
He's
lineup.
too small. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on to the bench. We still got 4 more guys to talk about because I only talked about 9 because Underwood said we're only 10 deep. So sorry to Lieb and Severns and
Servin.
Paxton.
Severns.
What'd I say?
You said Severns.
Oh, sorry.
Isn't it Servin? I mean, what?
Sorry, I pronounced his name wrong.
Paxton Warden looks like Tyler Underwood out there.
Yeah. See, at least I got his name right. I only got his name down here. So good for me.
Nailed it.
All right. Ty Rogers, first guy off the bench, 17 minutes, 2 of 3, 7 points. He did shoot a 3, did not make it. Just
Wasn't
like the
even
rest
close,
of the team.
I don't think.
9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. He brought energy. He pushed the ball. He was my player of the game in 17 minutes. I'll say it. That's fine. He had a really nice spin move during the game. Something that I don't know if other guys can do that. Maybe they can. But yeah, I'm very high on Ty Rogers. I know you have been. I'm on the train with you. I would start him over Meyer right now. I would, but I'm not the coach, and I'm sure Underwood knows what he's doing.
He's going to start Meyer. They're going to wait. If Meyer is bad in the first 3 games, I think you make a change.
Yeah, I think you have to start the experience. But I just think that eventually it might change.
It's something you can get away with against these opponents too, probably.
I agree.
So,
Jaden Epps, 21 minutes, 3 of 9 for 7 points, 1 of 6 from 3. He's not afraid to shoot, folks. Jaden Epps comes on the floor ready to put it up. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Big number, 0 turnovers. Like to see that from a guy that's probably going to play in the 2 more than the 1. But if you're taking care of the ball, I'm excited. Dane Danger, 16 minutes. I mean, he was okay. He was efficient, I guess. 4 of 6 for 8 points, for 8 points. He went 0 for 3 from the free throw line, so Kofi 2.0. 5 rebounds, 1 block, 1 turnover. I feel like they were really talking up Dane Danger and his footwork and how good he is and how he's lost this weight. I mean, do you think he's better than BBV was?
Well, it was an exhibition game against Quincy, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, an exhibition game against Quincy. So to have an inside presence against Quincy, if you can't do that, how are they going to do it against Edie and Dickinson? And
I haven't seen enough to say either way. I mean, okay. I think he probably
What's up, Evan? How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm just ranting about how we didn't play well against Quincy.
I think he does more than BBV. Like, he can do more. Like, he could probably better score, like an actual threat to score some points. But also, I worry about the slowness. I think
didn't
that
they
might
say he lost
him.
like 60 pounds?
I don't remember ever hearing that, but okay. Sure.
I might have made that up. That's fine. He's a big boy.
If he weighed 400 pounds, then he probably lost 60 pounds.
He is a big boy. I guess you put him in for a body sometimes.
You're just like jumping like the Sharks because it was like an exhibition game. You can't just take 10 minutes away from him.
Jump all I want, all right? Do you think Dane Danger plays more than 8 minutes a game?
Yeah. 11 minutes a game.
Evan said that he lost 25 to 30 pounds. Okay.
That's believable.
Yeah. I mean, you got to over-exaggerate for the show, though. Okay?
He lost 60 pounds. Confirmed.
60 pounds confirmed. Also, I'd say my second favorite player on the court that night. What was that? What day was that? Saturday? Friday? Okay. Sincere Harris.
Trent Frazier
2.0.
He reminds me of him because he looks like him.
Longer arms, and he wears the same number.
And a headband and has like the same hairstyle, but he's definitely not way skinnier and taller and completely different player.
Evan said that Danger never got the ball that much.
They were chucking up threes.
That's true. They were shooting a lot of threes. Sincere Harris played 13 minutes and not a lot, but he did foul out. He was 2 of 5 for 4 points. He missed his only 3. He took 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 0 turnovers for him. But his length and his energy, Illinois pressed this game. What?
I can't believe people are comparing him to Trent Frazier as a player.
Yeah, I mean he's left-handed and he wears a headband and he's number 1.
They couldn't be more different players for the most part. Like they're both good defensively, but also I don't think Sincere Harris is much of a threat to shoot or dribble the ball, and he's bigger. Like I don't understand. Other than just like, unless it's a bit, it makes no sense to me.
I mean, I think that people just saw him coming. I mean, you're telling me that when he came in, you didn't say to me he looks like
but not as a player.
No, his game's not the same at all. Harris has a chance to be special, says Steve. I agree. I loved the way he came in. I loved his energy. I love the way they played defense, 94 feet. I think that he can be really special, but I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to be a 20-minute guy that plays really hard. Like I said, he did foul out. That's just from overplaying a lot on the defensive end. But man, he as a 4-year player, he could be very, very, very good. But yeah, I hope that I'm glad that I know it's Quincy and I know it's early, but I'm glad that Underwood did go. And of course you're going to give everybody time, but hopefully this is the way it keeps going. So 3 years down the road,
Trent Frazier 2.0 apparently. So good for him. Very exciting.
Are you done? Are you done slapping the fans in the face? Okay. Jeez.
I mean, you tweeted them back.
Yeah.
Quincy only turned the ball over 25 times, which is pretty low. Would have thought it would have been like 35 times, but either way.
I think 25 is low. They had 13 steals. Illinois had 13 steals. Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
Other stats, 52 points in the paint, 32 points off of turnovers, 29 second chance points, and like I said before, 22 fast break points. This Illinois team running a full court press most of the game, a lot of the game. Coleman Hawkins on the point. I think Meyer was on the point some. Sincere was on the point some. So very interchangeable, very versatile. As
is it versatile or versatile? I think it's versatile.
I think it's like caramel and caramel. Okay.
So people who say a certain way are stupid, and the others are smart.
Which way do you say it?
I go either way with the versatile, but other people.
Oh, I thought you were talking about caramel.
Oh, yeah, caramel. I'll call it caramel. I feel like people who say caramel are trying to act like they're smart when they're just dumb.
I got you.
Caramel, that's the stupidest thing.
Evan says that he likes to press a lot, gets into the team's head fast. I do. And we talked about this. We were hoping for this. Underwood had talked about this. I do love it.
Any worry about the team becoming a bunch of zombies in the second half, though?
I don't think when you can, pretty much replace anybody with somebody, you have to worry about that as much. It may be towards the end of the game. But I think at that point, Underwood's going to rely on his half-court defense and, his playmakers. So I don't see it affecting him. We'll see. That is a very good point. Good work. Glad you did something.
Thank you.
Let's see. What else do I have here? Things that I've already talked about.
Good.
3-point shooting is a big question mark. We talked about 6 of 34 for a whopping 17.5%. Do you think Illinois improves on that? Do you think Illinois shoots 30-plus threes again this year? Because I'd be okay if they didn't shoot like more than 25. I mean 34 is absolutely insane for me.
I think they will reach that. You know why? They don't have any inside scoring for the most part. So,
but isn't that the point of the motion offense, is to get cutters? And
but they're not going to consistently do that all season.
Which you could tell that this team hasn't played in. I mean, yeah, they did secret scrimmage, whatever. They haven't played in a game before. There were missed alley oops. There were missed cuts. There were just some sloppy bad passes. But I think that this team, I mean, this Underwood wants the movement. This team should be able to get to the hoop, regardless of size. And guys like Sky Clark, who isn't exceptionally tall, can finish at the basket.
Well, he absolutely dummied that Quincy player one-on-one from the top to the bottom. How you doing? Spin move, the whole move, and then boom, suck on that. That's pretty much what he said.
Evan said they worked on conditioning a lot, so I doubt they turn into zombies.
Yeah, but like there's always a game where it's like
January,
I could see that.
And I could absolutely see that.
And we'll freak out, I'm sure.
Yeah, why? I mean, why wouldn't we?
And you put, is it a fluke or are they going to miss having shooters like Plummer and Frazier? I mean, they didn't have shooters like Plummer and Frazier in the tournament last season because neither of those guys could make a shot.
It's true.
So,
I mean, there were games last year where we talked about Illinois' bad shooting from three, right? Even with the likes of Plummer and Frazier.
You're relying on less last season. Like you're relying on less players.
I mean, do I think that Epps is going to go 1 for 6 every game and Sky Clark's going to go 2 for 8 and Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to go 1 of 6? I don't think so. I mean, I think they're more 40% 3-point shooters. But Shannon Jr. talked about how, he's used to playing in Lubbock. It was his first time, playing game situation on that court. He said it might take a little time, but he's going to get used to it.
Doesn't sound very positive from the quote.
Yeah, road games can't be very excited about that. So, and then like I said, Illinois just kind of looks sloppy. It was 8-2 at the first time out. Illinois is losing to Quincy, but Quincy was like banking in threes and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So there was one of the alley oops. Coleman Hawkins decided to not even look, threw a no look alley oop, and according to Derek Piper, you could hear Brad Underwood say, "What are we effing doing?" So fair enough. Let's see. That's about it. I got a couple quotes here. Brad Underwood said, quote, "We got in a better rhythm in the second half. I thought we moved the ball. We took shots in the first half that were really out of rhythm and hard." And like I said about Terrence Shannon Jr., he said, quote, "It was different. I'm used to the environment in Lubbock. I made the decision to come here, and this is my new home. It's just me getting comfortable with it." Kind of weird.
I don't think the environment in an exhibition game is going to be like a normal, like the game against. I
don't know how many
Syracuse.
people were there, but it definitely wasn't full, right?
Yeah, and also, people can't be doing the normal stuff in an exhibition game,
What kind of stuff you doing at the game?
I mean, I'm saying like the loud noises.
Oh, I got you. Steve said the paint will be opened without Kofi. This team has 3 players that like to drive to the paint. They will be fine. Driving to the paint and finishing in the paint, 2 different things. And I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying that
Coleman Hawkins.
That's where I think that Coleman Hawkins playing the 5 will benefit Illinois until everybody just drops into a zone and you can't do anything. So, all right. Your boy, Andy Katz, he had a dark horse Final Four put out there.
Really went on a limb with these.
He had Illinois number 2. He had TCU 1, who you think's probably winning the national title, right?
Good team.
And then Xavier, San Diego State, Michigan State, Wyoming, Dayton, Florida, Miami. St. Louis is kind of one where I wouldn't agree with that, but you probably would. And then St. Mary's, who I don't even think will get in the tournament because they're going to finish 3rd in the West Coast Conference. So
I think the problem for Katz here, who we know is a well-known fraud, I think the problem is that he literally went with teams that everybody views the same way. Like, oh, this team might not be picked to finish high, but I think they'll be good. I agree that TCU is a good team. I agree that Xavier has a good roster. We'll see how Sean Miller does year 1 there. San Diego State, I think, is really good. I don't see how they're much of a dark horse, but whatever. Michigan State. I mean, have you watched Izzo's teams in the last few years? I don't think that's a team that's going to get to the Final Four. That's a team that's going to be a 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11 seed and lose in the second round.
Yeah.
So I don't see that. Wyoming, not as high on them as most are personally, just because them in the tournament last season was so ugly against Indiana, disgusting. And
I know you're not a big Ike fan,
right? Dayton I think is good. Leave it at that. Florida, I like Todd Golden a lot. I don't see that. I don't see them as a dark horse either. Miami, I could see as a dark horse because they had success in the tournament last season, and they still have a lot of good players. And Larinaga, Boeheim Jr., that whole thing on Larinaga looks exactly like him. St. Louis, I don't know. I mean, I'm not as high on them as I usually am.
Yeah, you were really high on them.
Not gonna trust them until I see it. And St. Mary's, like you said, I mean, maybe they'll make the tournament. I don't know. I think it depends on who's better between BYU and St. Mary's.
Yeah. And to hear more about us ramble about all of college basketball, check out Ethan's Twitter. Oh, that's the wrong one. Check out Ethan's Twitter at Ethan Carter SW. We did a full show, hour and too long. When do we do that? Friday before the game. So, sorry. It's been a long day. But yeah, so Evan says, I think Terrence will be at the line a lot this year. I agree.
He spelled his name wrong.
And yeah, you are all about people spelling people's names right. And then you wrote
There's an E in there.
Then you wrote sincere down wrong on your notes. So
did I?
Shut it.
No, I didn't.
Because it changed it. I agree, and he went 3 of 3 from the line or something like that.
What a
so
stupid
3 of 3, 4 of 4, 5 of 5. And I think he's a really good free throw shooter. So I think that's going to be big for Illinois. So what y'all came here to hear our predictions for this season. Illinois, what are they going to do in our eyes? Zach Bates says Coleman is trash. Okay.
It's fair.
Definitely not coming on the show now. He goes on everybody else's podcast. Never going to get him on ours. Wants to come talk trash.
Your Illini goggles are definitely on for these predictions. Let me tell you, folks.
I mean,
Jesus,
this was initial. I sat down 30 minutes before we started this. I went through it, and I'm like, this schedule is just really easy. It seems like. So here we go. You want to go first or what?
Let's start with the non-conference.
Okay.
Looking at the schedule, you have 3 home games against Eastern Illinois, Kansas City, and Monmouth. Reminder that Kansas City beat Missouri last season, so there's a fun fact for you. Then they're in Vegas. They have UCLA. Good. Yeah, they're very good. Mm-hmm. UCLA in Vegas, and then they'll play Baylor or Virginia after that. Then you come home, you got Lindenwood, where Ken Palm gives them a 99.6% chance to win. Lindenwood, I believe, their first year in D1. So there you go. Then you have Syracuse at home, Big Ten ACC Challenge. Then you have a conference game, and then you have Texas. I believe that's at MSG, right?
Yep.
Neutral game, Jimmy V Classic. And then you have another conference game, and then you have December 17th, Alabama A&M, another one of those 300-plus teams on Ken Palm. Bragging rights against Mizzou, another neutral site game. Missouri, probably not as bad as we might think they'll be. I don't know. They're 41st on Ken Palm, which is only 8 spots worse than Illinois. Coach doesn't think they're any
good because he wants 160 teams in the tournament.
That's also true. And then they finish the non-conference on December 29th against Bethune-Cookman. Cookham.
Cookham.
Yeah.
The running Cookhams.
A lot of great opponents there. That's 10 games.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put them down for 8-2.
Okay. Losses too?
UCLA. I think they'll beat Baylor or Virginia. Hopefully Virginia. That would make it more likely. And then Texas, I think they'll lose that game. So
okay. Yeah. So this is where I didn't have my Illinois goggles on. I have them at 7-3. I don't think they beat any of those teams that are ranked. I I don't think they beat UCLA. I'm guessing they're going to play Virginia. I don't think they're going to beat Virginia. I'm going to drown my sorrows in Vegas and lose all my money.
I think we're forgetting a game. I think it's actually 11 non-conference games.
Oh, good counting.
Well, Ken Palm says 30, and I think they forgot to include the second Vegas game.
We had one job.
No.
One job, Ethan.
7.
1, 2, 3,
8,
4, 5,
9, 10.
6.
Yep, it's 11.
Okay, well,
9 and 2. Excuse me.
I lied. I have them 8 and 3.
So that adds a game to the regular season as well.
Right.
Anyway,
so,
I feel like I'm picking them to lose to Texas just to pick them to lose to Texas. I think they could win that game.
Yeah, I think so. So I have them losing, but I think that they have a chance to win all these games.
They could lose to Missouri. I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
Missouri, new coach, different roster. They got what's his name, Isaiah Mosley from Missouri State or something. He was really good last year there. So who knows? And they got, like you said, Dennis Gates, who wants to triple the field in March. So.
Let them all in.
But there is a lot of very, very bad opponents that they'll be facing. So
So like I said, 8 and 3. I think they lose to UCLA, Virginia, and Texas. But I think that win or lose, those are games you want to play. So we're gonna find out a lot about Illinois once we get to Vegas and see how they stack up against other top teams in the country. So.
And that was kind of the similar stretch that we saw 2 years ago with Baylor and then playing at Duke. But, of course, that wasn't a very good Duke team. But still, at the time, people thought Duke wasn't that bad. But
Steve agrees with you. 9 and 2, he says. So.
And then we pretty much flip-flop in the conference play, which the conference schedule on paper is quite easy. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I also think there's going to be teams that are better than we think. Scrappy, I believe I'm the same person who picked – them to lose to Nebraska last year, the year before that in non-conference or in conference play. So it's not good, right? It's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But the
Fair.
conference schedule begins December 2nd, Maryland, December 10th, Penn State, January 4th is when it gets back going with Northwestern and so on and so forth. So I have them 13-7 in the conference. 13-7. So
and finishing third, is that correct? So Ethan had a nice write-up about the whole Big Ten. You guys can go there and read it.
I forgot an Illinois game, so
okay, yeah. So it's irrelevant, I guess, but
technically so, yes.
Yeah, but he has Illinois finishing third in the Big Ten behind Indiana and
Ohio State. Bold, yeah. Not a lot of people have the stones to go bold. Everyone's like, Ohio State's going to finish 7th or 8th. Yeah. No, they're not. Suck on that, America.
It's fair. All right, 13-7. Who do you have them losing to?
So this is, what, 2 games worse than 2 years ago and a game worse than last year? So they went 15, 14, 13, or was it 16, 14, 13?
16.
Okay, so losses at Maryland. We've seen this movie before. Don't care who's Maryland's coach. Don't care who their players are. That's a loss. Home against Michigan State. I think Illinois is a much better team than Michigan State, but they're going to lose to Izzo at least once in the next few years. They beat him twice last season. So they beat him twice last season with Kofi. Was Kofi out in that game at home against Michigan State?
Yeah. Yes.
So
I don't know. My memory's awful.
Yeah. Home against Ohio State. That's a loss. We've seen that movie as well. Every time Ohio State comes to Champaign, they lose. Now, no Liddell or Branham is definitely a major factor here, but I'll believe it when I see it. Losing at Iowa, I don't know. I mean, they went in there and made a ton of shots last season and almost blew it.
How many points is Chris Murray going to put up against us?
Like 6, but Sanford will have like 25 and McCaffrey's kid will have like 30. So that won't be good. At Penn State, a very scrappy Penn State team. I think that's a loss, I have to say. I think Penn State played pretty well against Illinois last season, really good defensively. And I don't know if Illinois, like, they still have the same personnel for the most part of Penn State, at least with guards with Pickett still there. But yeah, why not? Scrappy Penn State team. Got to lose a game you don't want to lose, and that could be the one. At Indiana, I think Illinois splits with Indiana this year. Indiana's a good team. Illinois went in there and beat them up pretty good last season in Bloomington, but why not lose? And then at Purdue, another why not? There's really no rhyme or reason. I just don't think they're going to win as many games as they should or we think they do based on the schedule. But there's going to be some games in there that you wish they would have won.
Yeah. Steve is predicting 15-5, winning it 3 years in a row. I like it.
Which people may look at and be like, 15-5, there's no way. Then they hear what you're about to say, and they're like, Jesus.
Zach says Ty Rogers is going to be a ton for this program. Definitely agree. We talked about him. And I said that he was the best player in that game against Quincy. So
game it didn't matter, but go ahead.
Yeah, game didn't matter, but he's still the best player. So here we go. I told you that a guy came up to me, right, and said Illinois might only lose 6 games this year. And we kind of giggled about it and said, no way, Illinois is going to lose probably, 9-10 games. And then I go here and I got Illinois going 17-3, folks. 17-3. The schedule's too easy. It's too easy. All right. The Big Ten is not good this year. I know that you have to say they're good for that article.
I don't think they're good.
But the Big Ten is not good this year. Okay. Every good team, Illinois either plays once or they play them at home. Wait, that doesn't make sense. But anyways.
Well, also let's think about this.
So not only do I have them going 17-3, all right, folks. Not only do I have them going 17-3, of course they would win the conference if they did that. I have them starting the season 17-0, and then they lose at Ohio State, Michigan at home, and at Purdue. Book it.
So what you were saying is that they're going to lose or they're going to win. Let me do quick math here. They're going to win 20 games in a row.
I don't know. When's that Texas game?
Okay, so it's Texas.
Their last loss is going to be Texas, and they're not losing until they go at Ohio State. Book it.
13, 14, 15,
Book it.
16, 17, 18, 19.
17-3 may not be safe, but I got that money.
19 games in a row. Do you know how hard it is to win 19 games?
Guys?
There's no way.
Guys, I'm just saying. 17-3.
You think they're going to lose their last 3?
And everybody that says, oh my gosh, this guy hates this team. He's been talking crap about all the players. I think they're going 17-3 in the conference, okay?
You're high.
I'm just saying. So before you call me a hater and you say that I don't know good basketball and I don't like this team because blah, blah, whatever you want to put on your Apple 1-star review, I got this team going 17-3.
But now you're just saying that just because you don't want people to think that you hate the team.
No.
You just outed yourself by saying
no, that. I am saying
I know that you don't think that, but
legitimately looking at this schedule, they got Maryland, okay, win, whatever. They got Penn State at home, win, easy. They got Northwestern, easy win. Wisconsin at home, easy win. Nebraska, psh. Michigan State at home, that place is going to be rocking. I'm going to be there with 10 of my friends, and we are going to have fun. Minnesota, easy win. Indiana, everybody wants to talk about Indiana. Indiana's so good. The only big I'm not worried about, because I think Coleman Hawkins can handle him, is Terrence Shannon Jr. Trace Jackson Davis. You got me heated. I'm about ready to take my shirt off. All right. It's getting hot in here. 14-6. 14-6 says Zach. All right. Hold on. I need a break.
We're level. I think he's drunk at 5:00 on a Monday, folks, with these predictions.
Sweating.
Are you drunk?
No,
Jesus.
I'm drinking water. I'm just sweating. You got me riled up. All right. Illinois goes 25-6. They're 2 seed in the tournament. That's my prediction.
You could sell me on that if this were Io and Kofi still being here years.
That's fine.
You could sell me on that.
We'll see what happens. We'll see who's laughing at the end of the year.
I hope I'm not.
It's probably going to be you. So, anyways.
Well, I'll just say this. I really thought that we were going to temper the expectations a little bit with this.
I tried until I started looking at the schedule, and I'm like, who's going to beat them?
We've known the schedule is easy, but you have to like think about Penn State is a hard game to win. Indiana is a hard game to win.
They beat Penn State by 12.
At Maryland is always a hard game no matter what. And Maryland's more talented, and their coach isn't a complete moron now with Willard. So I have them going 22-9. I think that's good for a 5 seed in the tournament. So, right around the range you want. I think Illinois being anywhere from 3 to 6 is probably ideal, probably realistic.
Until the NCAA screws them, but
they'll end up on the 5 line, and then the 4 seed will be Houston again somehow because Houston lost like 3 games. It'll be like a 28-4 Houston team as a 4 seed or something. But I think we got to calm down a little bit.
Though. Bratz said he would put a bet on 17-3 and hope it happens.
Yeah, I hope it happens.
You mean you're betting against me? Is that what you're saying? Like there's no shot, or
they're not going to win 19 games in a row. There's just, that is insane. Okay, if they go into the last 3 games with what do you have the record as at that point? So that's 19 in a row. That's 17-0 in conference. You have 3 losses plus how many non-conference wins? That's 8. 25. If they're 25-3 going in, what would they be ranked? Like would they be number 1 or 2 or 3? They might be number 2,
be
3.
Up there.
The Big Ten's not as good, so that's the real thing working against you. But
probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win 19 games in a row. I just find that hard to believe. But
it's fine. You don't have to believe what I believe, okay?
I don't think you actually believe it, but whatever.
I do. Like when I sit down and look at it, that is what I think.
So when they lose their first Big Ten game of the year to Maryland, what are your thoughts going to be?
They're going to finish 16-4.
3-17? No, okay. All right. Now we go to the leader predictions, which I don't even have mine of last year because I erased them, but whatever. I don't think it really matters. Everybody on the team's different. Leading scorer. Who's going to be?
I got RJ Melendez 16.2 a game.
I'm going to go Terrence Shannon Jr., who plays for Indiana now, apparently. 14.5 a game is what I'll go there. I think it's going to be lower.
I'm just warning everybody, TSJ and TJD, I'm going to mess that up more times than you'll believe this year, okay? Just I think fair warning.
There's going to be like 4 or 5 guys that above 10 points.
I was going to say, so what do you think, like Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to have like 14.5, RJ Melendez is going to have like 14, Sky Clark's going to have like 13. Is that kind of like what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think that's the most obvious thing for this team to do, given the depth and minutes and, sharing of the ball. Rebounds.
Coleman Hawkins, 8.1.
It's another stat where I think it's going to be similar. I'm going to go 7.3 because I think Dane Danger is going to average 5 or 6. I think Rogers will average 4 or 5. I think Clark will average a few. So, yeah, and I think Dane Danger might lead. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
If Dane Danger averages 6 rebounds a game.
You're putting a target on his back before he even plays a real game. Jesus. Talk about a hater.
Did you watch him play?
It's an exhibition game.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. If he plays like that against Eastern Illinois and plays that many minutes and they actually need him to be good, then it's a problem. Or if he does against Monmouth or Kansas City, or if he plays against UCLA and looks like totally lost, deer in headlights type stuff, then yeah, it's an issue. But it's an exhibition game against Quincy. He's never played with any of these guys before. He's got everybody talking him up, which that can't be good. I mean, I don't know why Underwood does this. He puts like impossible expectations on his team every year. He thinks he's talking them up, but then he's like, oh, God, we're probably going to go 85-0 and we're going to win 19 games in a row. But no, then it makes the fan base that much more impossible to deal with when the team's 8-4. It's just like, You wonder why and nothing wrong with this, but Illinois fans, we have a reputation. We have a reputation for the craziness that can ensue, which is a good thing a lot of times, but also it can get out of hand. And when
I
I
agree.
watched Titus and Tate talk about the Illinois-Kansas scrimmage, shout out to Benchwarmers, hell of a film, scrimmage, nailed it. Great delivery on that line. But
Until you had to explain it.
yeah,
You
that
know,
kind of
it's
ruined
just,
it a little
you know,
bit. Not that I didn't ruin it that much. I ruined it a little bit. But, I know comedy when I see it, of course. They were talking about I'm about to lose my train of thought like you did earlier. They were talking about they made a good analogy about the way that Illinois' fan base is, and I thought it was accurate. So check that out. Anyway, where was I going with that? All right, assist leader.
Going to assist leader. I got Terrence Shannon Jr., not Trace Jackson Davis. I have him at 4.8. I think that there's gonna be a lot of drives and kickouts with him, a lot of open court running with him. So I think that he will lead the team in assists.
You're assuming that anybody that gets the ball on a driving kick out can actually make the shot. That's a tough bet.
Wow. Well, I mean, wait, hold on. So I can't speak ill of Dane Danger, but you can talk about how bad Illinois shoots in an exhibition. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we didn't go into the season with expectations that they would be good at shooting.
One is just shooting better. The other is competence. Anyways, go ahead.
Dane Danger's a hell of a ball player. Anyway, next Kofi from what I heard.
Best footwork I've ever seen from a big
Sky Clark 5.4 is my pick. I think he's going to be having the ball most of the time. He played a lot of minutes in that scrimmage, I think, or in that exhibition, excuse me. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes this season. I think they're going to use him effectively as much as possible. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. So assists, yes. And maybe, last year we both had Curbelo, right? So that worked out well. Steals.
Sir, are you saying that Sky Clark's going to get hurt?
I'm saying that Sky Clark's not a maniac.
Oh, all right. Steals. I have coming off the bench, maybe playing 15 minutes a game.
Trent Frazier.
Sincere Trent Frazier Harris.
Why is it sincere? Why is it spelled like that?
I don't know.
Stupid.
I don't know. And I try to type it in, and spell check just wants to change it every time. So
I could see. I could
2.5 steals a game by him.
I could see Sincere Harris doing that, and that's what I'm going to call him the rest of the season.
Sure.
I'm going to go Sky Clark. I think top of the perimeter, getting in passing lanes. We saw that against Quincy, which once again, it's Quincy. So, they're probably not going to be the smartest team or the best team at moving the ball around the perimeter. But, I could see Sky Clark. I think it's either going to be Sky or Sincere or Ty Rogers maybe. I think it's going to be a freshman, though. I'd be surprised if it weren't a freshman.
I agree.
Maybe RJ. But, a breakout player, which is like I'm almost wondering we should just remove this from the predictions because it's like
fair.
You can't pick a freshman.
We can.
You could, but it's like
we can remove it. I don't really care.
What are you breaking out from if you're a freshman?
It was always funny because I would pick somebody that wasn't any good, and you'd pick the one that everybody said was going to be a breakout player, and now we flip flop. So here we go. Go ahead with your breakout player this year.
The expectations are not high for this guy. If he comes off the bench and let's say Danger is what you think he is, which is not good, this guy is probably going to be playing some minutes. So if he averages like 2 points and 2 rebounds, that's a breakeout season for Brandon Lieb. I mean, I'm dead serious. I mean, I can't get through without laughing, but I'm dead serious.
That's true.
Why not? Yeah. What his expectation? A breakout season for him is averaging 2 points and 2 rebounds.
Playing in
8 minutes per game, and
just playing not at the end of games and actually during games.
Being the number 10.
Do you think Brandon Lieb can even move into that role where like BBV was like got 2-3 minutes here and there? Because I don't see it.
You seem to think that Dane Danger is a waste of space. So if he's that bad, then what are they going to do? Lieb's got to play, right? What are they going to have? Paxton Warden, who looks like he's 5'2" out there, play?
No, you put Ty Rogers in, and you have him put an elbow into Zach Edey's kidneys. That's what I'd do if I was a coach. Anyways, my breakout player, surprise, RJ Melendez.
Oh my God. What a fraud. You should have some stones and pick Connor Servant.
Okay, the guy that picked Coleman Hawkins last year when everybody else was saying the same thing.
Did I do that?
Yes.
That's a mistake. Jeez. There's never anybody that can like really break out on this team. Like, I guess RJ's the guy, but everybody else is picking him. People can say, "Oh, Coleman Hawkins is going to break out." I hate to break
If
it
Luke
to you,
Goody
folks.
wasn't hurt, I would have picked Luke Goody, by the way.
If Luke Goody wasn't hurt, I would have picked Paxton Warden. So, I just wonder, like, for Hawkins and people think that he could break out this year, it's like, I don't think he's better than what he's shown for the most part. I mean, I like, it's not like Coleman Hawkins was a 5-star coming in that everybody eventually is going to be good.
I think everybody thought Coleman Hawkins was going to make this leap like he was NBA caliber, like kind of like the Keegan Murray leap. And I don't think I think that he might improve to 12, 14 points a game, but I don't think he's making as big as leap as people think that he probably will. And I hope I honestly hope I'm wrong, because if he can make that leap, it's going to be huge. I don't think that he has the same skill set as a guy like Keegan Murray.
It's also impossible for him to make that leap because Underwood's not going to hand the keys to Coleman no matter what, like Fran did for Keegan Murray.
True.
Because this team has a lot more players capable of doing things than Iowa did last season. So it's like impossible for him to make that jump. And also, let me break it to you, Iowa fans. If there's any Iowa fans watching, losers. Chris Murray stinks.
Whoa.
So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Chris Murray stinks.
Fair.
He's as bad as your offense in football, who miraculously scored like 20 points last week against Northwestern. So congrats. But Chris Murray is not who you think he is. If you're an Iowa fan and your big thing is Chris Murray's going to break out, you should look at a different player on your team that actually could break out and nobody's talking about, but only college basketball savants like myself, really. The only guy that we think of as savants, Peyton Sandford. That's who's going to break out, not Chris Murray. So stop with your Chris Murray BS.
All right. Yeah. I think that's it. Illinois football. I mean, I feel like we just got to say it just because, why not? 7-1, 6 games in a row.
Don't tell you that.
Exciting stuff. Their defense is mediocre, I think. No, I'm just kidding. Pretty cool. I think that Illinois football being good is going to take a lot of heat off of a chance of Illinois basketball not starting off as hot as everybody thinks they're going to. So it'll be interesting because in the middle of that, Vegas, UCLA, whoever they play, is the Illinois-Michigan game. So that could alleviate some pain if Illinois could pull off a win against Michigan.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but that's not going to happen.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying it could alleviate.
Well, there's 0% chance that it does happen, so there's no alleviation regardless. But I will say this about the football team. You hate them. I will say that. You do hate them.
What do you mean?
I mean, if a team gives up a couple bad drives, a couple drives, you're like, okay, what are they doing? You can't talk about how nobody
just tweet about it all the time. You can't just tweet about it all the time.
I do that with teams I care about. I'm not the biggest Illinois football fan, but I do support the team. I will also say this
in confidence to you, and then you're out here telling the whole whole podcast world. Steve says Chase Brown will break out for the Heisman.
I respect the fact that Steve thinks that and that he listens to this podcast. He's a big supporter of ours. We appreciate that, but that's just not happening.
Say no. Yeah.
An Illinois running back, unless they're undefeated and he has the best pass in the country by a mile, it just doesn't happen.
Sadly, he's just not. Yeah, he's not.
And it's not his fault. So,
I think he might get invited though, which would be cool.
Probably not, but maybe if they do go 11-1 and they beat Michigan, which it's tough. Maybe, but it's like a Purdue or Michigan State, Purdue, Michigan, Northwestern. If they seem to be in the driver's seat to get to Indianapolis to play Ohio State or Michigan,
they need to beat Purdue. And
I would think going 3-1,
and they're probably good.
Yeah, 3-1 would seal the deal, but 2-2.
2-2 with the win against Purdue.
Michigan State this week. I think Illinois is minus 16.5 against Michigan State.
I think it started at like 10, and then
I saw 16.5. So I also the big
Michigan State. They lost 2 starters from that, whatever they did. I don't pay attention. We've talked for 5 minutes about football.
Well, do they even have an Illinois football podcast? Probably not. Nobody even cares. But I will say this. Illinois' defense is apparently mediocre defense is giving up 9 points per game, and Michigan State's defense giving up like 28. So if Tommy DeVito and Chase Braun can figure it out, they'll be fine. And also maybe Isaiah.
Been fun to watch.
So. Maybe Mr. Williams should not fumble while trying to make a move with not even getting touched. That would help as well. So Illinois football podcast, very nice. Maybe we should do it, but we won't. So I'm thinking we do like a Q&A or another little live stream before the season begins. I don't know what day we could do that.
Steve, what's your schedule look like?
That's pretty much the only person that would tune in.
That's about it.
Evan as well. Shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll try to do that maybe before the season. Are we doing a watch party for the first game? Because if we are, I have
hope.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. But
8 o'clock game on a
Monday. The plan is watch party for the first game. So hope to see you there.
And the first game is next
that changes,
Monday,
we'll let you know.
8 p.m. ESPNU somehow.
Oh man,
it is an 8 o'clock game. No, it's not. Aren't you the guy who plays PGA 2K23 until like midnight? Anyway, I wonder what the line's going to be on this game. I'm thinking Illinois minus like 21.5, 22.5, somewhere in that range. But we won't get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about that in the Q&A live stream thing that we'll probably do at some point before the season starts. So, all right, I think we've all seen enough. But the good news is with the season starting, we're pretty much going to be back once every game, once every 2 games. So it's going to be happening a lot. So
we're back. We hope you didn't miss us too much, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody listening to this episode is really put off by this podcast.
Full-time podcast action coming, not this once a month stuff. So be ready. Be ready to give us those 1 stars on the Apple Podcasts and tell us that we don't know anything.
DeMonte.
And yeah,
all right.
There we go.
We'll see you.
Thanks everybody for coming out and commenting. That always means a lot when you guys are actually here watching us live. For everybody that listens later, thank you guys. Go Illini. Season is getting ready. We're excited.
And follow the podcast Twitter account at Podcast Line A, and we'll